Okay, so this is the finished baby dress that I made for my cousin's baby. I used Crayo's Uncle Mulberry base in Dried Flowers, which is this one, and then Pearl, which is the lighter, it's a pale pink. And I made this up as I went, so I kind of overdid the initial stitches here for the dress. So I ended up kind of decreasing it a little bit. So there's going to be kind of like I'm assuming kind of like a runched effect when the baby's wearing it, which I think could be cool. Like the ruffles kind of change the shaping or the appearance of how the brioche pattern looks. And then this kind of straighter bottom dominates, I don't know how to describe it, but it's more prominent versus the wrinkled kind of top. So what I did was kind of the traditional leaf pattern, and then I kind of alternated it to be around the axis of this other center line. So there's like a center line here that I did around, and then I alternated it around this center line, so you can kind of see it shifts. It's a little bit hard to describe, but basically the petals are going in different orientations from this way to this way. And then I did the syncopated kind of transition from brioche, so you kind of bring out the pearl stitch and it becomes a knitted brioche stitch, and then vice versa. So it basically just changes the dominant color. So I kind of wanted to try that out, that technique. I staggered it. You can't really tell. I did these first and then these and then these, but it's within kind of just like successive rows, so there wasn't a lot of like lag space. Yeah, so I ended up putting these little scallop baby things here. I was playing around with Zandy Peters' Picot brioche bind-off technique, and I added in short rows, so there's like more of a curved shape, because I ended up knitting these rows the most, the center rows. And I kind of played around with when I bound off. So as you can see, they're kind of each different, and they're a little scraggly to be honest, but hey, I was playing around with the technique. Yeah, so I can do a walkthrough of kind of the method I found to be the best for that. I ended up doing kind of like individual panels, so I had to weave in a lot of ends because I had to kind of basically I had to start like not cast on, but I had to introduce the yarn and then break it and go on to the next one. So yes. What else? I crocheted a little button and a little button loop. I think for a baby it's probably most comfortable to have this soft little button rather than a hard like pearl or wooden button, even though they're really cute. So I decided to do that. Yeah, I started to follow the pattern from Knitting for Olive. She has a romper or dress pattern with like a little ruffle. And I was gonna add a ruffle here, but I decided not to because I liked the look. I added in these eyelets, and then kind of did the sleeves, the same kind of look with a pearl knit, pearl border as the collar. And so I used a worsted weight yarn, and she calls for fingering weight, so it kind of doubled the size. I started out doing a 3-month-old, but this is probably for a 6 to 9 month. So there are benefits. It, I guess, knits up faster if you use a thicker yarn, but it does throw off your stitch count, I'd say. This just seemed so huge. The other thing is brioche really blows it up too, so it was like 300 stitches, just regular stockinette, but like possibly double the look when I introduce brioche. So that's another consideration. So yeah, that is how it looks in the back, and this is the front.